Live streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos, I mean many building videos that Sparky has done on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. That's a like. Please subscribe, please share the videos, and please comment. All that helps the channel grow. Please consider joining our YouTube channel memberships starting at only $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunt Hangar. Now, with your memberships, you get special badges in the YouTube chat box, unlimited replay of member-only videos, and once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. I want to let you know that those donations, or to make donations, is only available to the viewers during a live show. So please make a note. We do this every Monday and Friday at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when we start. And during that broadcast is when the super chat will be available for you to donate and contribute. So please do that. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to post the link at stunthangar.com. Earlier, I meant to say stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Sunset Michael Foxtrot. Okay? And so please come on in and enjoy the show with me. Let me get to the link here. Just give me a second. And post. All right, so the link is posted. And let me check on the live stream, see what's going on there. We already have 6 viewers and 5 likes. Thank you so much. And Tom Ramos says, here's my like, Charles. Well, thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate that. Let me see here. So I know it's early, but the chat revenue, there's no chat revenue, no new members. So please, when you join, when you subscribe, remember to hit the bell and select all notifications so that whenever I come on or Sparky, you'll be notified. You'll know. And don't forget to consider joining. You'll see a join button as well. Hit the join button, and then there's 3 tiers, and the lowest one is at $4.99 a month. That's just 17 cents a day, and it will help. So let me get back to this screen here. All right, I'm going to move this around here. Fantastic. So, anyways, this is not about flying, but I actually went to the Kaiser Permanente today and got my first. I had a Pfizer vaccine or vaccination today. So, and my next one is, I guess, 21 days from now in May. And I'm feeling good, by the way. Just a little pinch of the skin when that needle goes in. Other than that, doing well. And let me see what's going on in the YouTube side. Oh, here we go. Mike Lonke gave me the thumbs up. I thank you very much, Mike. Montana Farmer, he says, hey, Charles. And Timothy DeBoard. Tim from Texas is here. All right. All right, Texas. Texas is being represented. And I imagine Montana Farmer is from Montana. And Mike is from Tennessee, and Tom is from Minnesota. So, and I'm from California. So we have, and then hopefully Alexander III, he's from the UK. And Gerald Wimmer, he's from Australia. And I know Sparky has some fans from, I think, from Asia somewhere. So, yeah, there are people that are interested in this hobby all over the world. It's actually pretty big in other countries. It's unfortunate that we probably are not. I remember when I went to the Nationals in 2019. Here it is. This is the U.S. Nationals, and I didn't think they did much media coverage. I really don't think we promote the hobby as well as we could. I think that's one of our downfalls. Plus, the world has changed. Even though I enjoy this so much, I know that other people in the world are into other things, and kids are into other things today. Let me see what's going on Stunt Hangar. I did post the link, so it's there. Okay, here comes someone knocking in. Ed Carlisle. Hello, Ed.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Okay. Still busy with the house, but we're doing good.
Oh, that's nothing wrong with working on where you live,
Well, when I retired, all these things I put off the whole time I was retired, so I got like 30 years of catching up to do. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've heard of people doing the same thing. It's just like all the stuff they've been meaning to get to. Well, now you have the time.
Yes. Yep. When I don't know whether Tryon's coming on tonight. I had a question when he was making his fuselages, how he determines the width of the ply or the balsa when he wraps the mold he makes, so it doesn't overhang and curl the ends. You know what I mean? When he wraps it with the ace bandage, if there's any kind of overhang, it would curl under the flat part of the.
When I've made those mold bucks, underneath it is, like, for my case, I go a little bit heavy, like a 1/2-inch piece of plywood, which is the same silhouette of the mold. So, and I shape it so I have a foam on top of it that's shaped to what I want, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when I wrap the ace bandage around it, it doesn't really affect the mold, because the base 1/2-inch plywood is the actual shape of the mold. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but the extra does not really affect the mold buck at all.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I even, in addition to the 1/2-inch plywood that's on the bottom of this styrofoam, I also have a piece of wood that's perpendicular to it, so that when I'm making it, I can put it in a vise and I can shape the foam before I even wrap it. So I even have like another piece of wood perpendicular, so it fits right in the vise, and I have a flat surface, attach the foam to it, and I can shape it.
Okay. Now when you make your mold, do you make formers and then glue pieces of
I make the formers, and there's several ways of doing it. You can either like put the formers on that base,
Uh-huh.
and then put blocks of styrofoam in between fore and aft of those formers, right?
Yeah.
And then you shape the whole thing.
Okay.
Or you can shape the whole thing first and then cut the slots and then place the formers in there.
Okay. Now, when you apply the balsa, do you seal the formers with anything so they don't swell when the balsa's wet, or it's not that wet?
I haven't done anything like that. I don't think it gets that wet. Now the way I did mine this last time, I actually cut slots,
Uh-huh.
and so I put the pieces of wood after the whole fact. So in other words,
Yeah. Now, what do you wet with, water or Windex or something like that? The balsa, the sheets. You wet them with water, or
oh, you're talking about the ones that actually wrap around me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? I just Bob Hunt said that he just uses hot water,
Okay.
and so I soak it in a tub with hot water. And now before I even select that piece of wood, I check that it's pliable in the first place.
When it's after it's wet or before?
Oh, even before I wet it.
Okay.
When I select the wood to make the shells, I make sure it'll bend. It's bendable anyways.
Yeah.
In other words, you definitely want to have what they call A grain.
Right.
So you want the grain to go from front to back, not side to side.
Right.
And so it'll bend easy. And then some wood bends better than others. So you just would just select very bendable wood in the first place, and then just soaking it in hot water was good enough for me.
Right. Now, do you use 16th or 8th or something in between?
This last time I did 16th. I know that people have done 1/8 inch. Some people have done double 16th. They do 2 sheets of 16th. I think Tryon does that.
Yeah, I think I saw. See, I didn't catch this whole thing with his because I was so intermittent with getting on. Now, after the mold or after the shell is dry, do you put formers inside the shell?
Yes, especially like my last one that I made was out of 16th. So I'm really trying to avoid what they call the starved horse look. So I have formers in there, and I'm going to coat the inside of the shell with Z-epoxy.
Uh-huh.
Paint it in there, and then wipe most of it off, and that'll help harden it up, so that when it's attached to the formers, it won't give that starved horse look.
Now, when you do push rods run inside the fuselage, right? How do you determine where, if that's the way you do it? How do you determine where to cut the formers for the push rod?
Well, on my plane right now, I think my formers on. Okay, so I'm trying to think in the right dimension. Is when the plane's upright, my push rod is actually up high. So my formers,
are they solid or no?
The formers, there would be an opening in the formers for the push rod. What I'm trying to say.
School, like the Vico used to do, and well, most of the kit manufacturers, it wasn't a solid former.
Yeah, I would have a slot in there or a space. It could be most likely a round hole would be best. Round is generally stronger, like an egg.
Yeah.
It's stronger than a little rectangular shape, right?
Yeah.
So you try to make things as round as you can. So if you can make it round, that would be ideal.
Okay. Yeah, I'm running all this stuff, through my head, see what I want to do. I got a couple planes finished. I got one that's partially done I'm working on, but I have well, beside the big PT-17, I got a Sterling one that the small one, the I don't know what the number is on it. That's going to be my guinea pig for the big one. So.
Oh, good. Bob Hunt has a molding video with him and Bill Werridge, which is awesome. And then Sparky, he has probably at least 3, maybe even more molding videos.
Are they on Stunt Hangar?
They're on Stunt Hangar YouTube channel.
Okay.
That means Sparky's are on Stunt
Right,
Hangar
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few that are titled molding, or at least one is entitled molding. But there's a bunch of them Sparky's done, because whenever he does a plane, you know, it's part of the process is to make a molding buck. Sometimes he uses the same molding buck. And then, like I said, Bob Hunt and with Bill Worridge, between those two videos, and there's probably others. So if I'm missing or forgetting to mention, I don't know if Wendy Anowski has any. I wouldn't be surprised if. And there's another guy. There's that. There's two channels by Paul Taylor. One is CL Guy, and I think the other one is Play.
Starts with a D or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you might be able to look through there, but for sure, if you go on Stunt Hangar, this won't cost you anything. I mean, the one that Bob Hunt has will cost you a little bit of money, I think, but it's worth it. I mean, I use it as a reference. I use Sparky's as a reference, and so I just will. It's nice to be able to watch a video, pause, and then go do what they just showed you, right?
Yeah.
Continue on, and it's almost like they're right there showing you how to do it.
Fridays, when we were on Friday, Ski Dombrowski's lace maker came up.
Yeah.
They were talking about it, and I talked to, I don't know whether you guys know John Saunders or not. He's a Philly flyer.
Yeah, I know John. I mean, I've met him. I don't know if he could say he knows me, but we met at Brodax.
Yeah, he was a real close friend of Ski's. And,
oh, cool.
I asked him if he knew where the plane was, and he says he's pretty sure his son has it, but it's not in very good shape. I guess it just hasn't done well with time. So I don't know whether he seemed to think that his son had it, but he said the last time he saw it, it wasn't in very good shape. So it's a shame. He said it was a beautiful airplane.
I remember seeing a picture of it. You know, Wendy Anowski at the beginning of his videos, he would go through some pictures that people sent into him, and then he'd pass them on to, at that time, Tom Morris. So I remember seeing the lace maker, and but I don't know what it looks like today, but I remember seeing it.
Well, I forget. Somebody had pictures of it Friday night. Maybe it was Walt, I think.
I don't remember seeing the lace maker. I saw the ones that were predecessors to the lace maker.
Yeah, he won the '86 Concours with that one. He had a 20 point finish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's saying a lot too back then.
Yeah. Like I said, it's beautiful. Anything Ski built.
Yeah, there's some guys out there that are like that. It's part of the hobby. You know, there's some guys that fly more and they put more emphasis on flying, and then there's those who maybe can't reach the heights of winning first place, but they put a great deal of effort into building and finishing a plane, and so they get the pride of accomplishment by putting that plane down, and it's maybe the prettiest plane there, and that's their reward, and it's great. It's part of the hobby. I love that. Hang on one second, Ed. Let me catch up on the chat box. Greg Biswick says, "Where am I from, Charles?" I think it's Argentina. Is that right, Greg? And then Daryl Waltz says, "Hi, Charles. Hello from Saskatoon, Canada." I'm probably butchering the name. Forgive me. I've been watching the Hangouts for about a year. Well, thank you, Daryl. I appreciate that. And Greg Biswick says, Sparky has viewers from Scotland, South America, Brazil, and all over. Really? Yeah, I noticed that. And Greg goes on to say, Sparky measures the mold buck with a dressmaker tape at each end and cuts the balsa sheet before molding it. That's correct. Okay. And I saw this Bill Worridge and Bob Hunt. And I saw them doing the same thing too. And then Greg Biswick says Sparky used 3/32 on his last plane. Okay. Yeah, so I mentioned 1/16 and 1/8, but 3/32 as well.
And when you make yours, you make the line of delineation vertical or the horizontal? You
I
build
I didn't quite hear that.
when you're making your molds up. Your line of demarcation, is it vertical? Or is it horizontal? Where they split? They split top and bottom or side to side? I know I'm not making sense.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I think I know what you're saying now. You know what? I remember seeing Al Ray doing his on the sides. His
Okay.
molds were the sides, and they met on top and bottom. I do mine top and bottom,
Okay.
and so it's longitudinal where the cut is,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
rests on top of the fuselage side.
Okay. So I've seen it done both ways. I've never done it either way. That's why I was asking all these questions.
I think Al Ray does it the way on the sides because his fuselage was so big. They're like scale models.
Yeah.
So that's why they're, and even when I saw the video from Bob Hunt and Bill Woodbridge, I saw Bill Woodbridge show them on the sides because he was making a I forgot what plane it was, but yeah, I guess it's all different kind of ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to the guys that came in. Thank you, Gary, for coming in. I think Mike, you came in after Gary, and thank you, John, for coming in. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
I'm I'm having some issues, but I'll get through it.
Well, definitely get through it. You got to just face it head on, right, John?
See that?
Uh-oh.
That was a Mohs surgery to remove some cancer from my wrist, skin cancer.
Wow. On your
So
wrist.
I'm a little. I may not be here too long tonight.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming in. So you just saw it, and you said, "I better have a doctor look at that," or?
Well, I've had issues with skin cancer for about close to 20 years now. Part of it's the fact that my lineage comes from Scotland, Germany, and England. Okay, areas where people have tendency towards skin cancer. Partly it's from sun exposure when I was younger. Partly during Vietnam, I was a blue water sailor that was Agent Orange managed to get to me.
Oh, okay.
And then the last thing, I worked 40 years in the drywall industry. When I started out, the muds we used they had big letters, with asbestos. And so you get it on the wall, and then you're sanding it with a sanding pole, and you get a pile on your skin about an 1/8 inch thick, and you ground it up in a little tiny powder. And there's some conjecture that might be another reason. But I've had close to 200 of skin cancers and precancers removed from my body, mostly on my arms. You can see the spots there.
Yes. Yeah.
And some from the top of my head, ears, back of my ears. It's all where, like here, I don't have any because I had a t-shirt on.
T-shirts on, right.
And I don't have anywhere I have my shorts on, because but from my knees down to my shoe area, I've got a few, but most of them I've got on my arms, back of my hands. So I'm leaning towards the two things, Agent Orange and
Asbestos exposure.
asbestos being the two culprits.
Right.
So this thing popped out after my wife died, and I was, of course, very conscious of cancer at that point in time.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And so they cut it out. Right. It was right there. They got a pressure bandage on. That's why that lump's there.
Oh, okay.
They cut it out right there, incision in that, and sewed it back up. And it took a long time to heal, and the one end there wasn't healing very well at all. So I went back in, and they took a biopsy and said, you still got cancer there. So then they took me in. You know what Mohs surgery is?
No.
Mohs surgery, they go in and they cut around it, and then they go take a look at it under the microscope. And if they see cancer at the edge of a cut, then they go back and they check because they didn't get it all. And they
Okay.
go until it gets clear. So, but the doctor was pretty good on this, and he got everything in the first cut.
You said most surgery, you said?
Mohs, M-O-H-S.
M-O-S. I'm sorry.
M-O, Mike, Oscar, Henry, Sierra.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, enough on me. But that's
All
why
right.
I'm kind of, I'm still feeling the effects of,
Well, I'm glad that you're diligent on it and fighting it. We gotta can't just sit there and take it. So I'm glad that you're fighting.
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing a person can do with skin cancer. It seems so, in many cases it's so trivial. It seems you just got a spot that either itches or you pick at because it hurts, and all you're doing is making it worse. But the thing is, the darn thing can eventually metastasize, and then it goes all through your body and you die from it.
Yeah.
But skin cancer is the one cancer that they have the highest percentage of people living through it.
Right. So anyways, what you doing, Mike? I see you're working on that obviously it's an engine. I'm trying to read that box. That box looks familiar, but I don't know what that box is. Magnum.
Magnum XL.
Magnum. Okay. I knew the box is upside down, so I was just trying to read upside down, but it's a Magnum.
No, I'm going through all those engines I picked up last week in that deal. I got the 3 LA40s, the 3 LA46s, and the Magnum 40.
And that Magnum 40 was brand new, right?
Yeah, it's brand new. I was just putting it back in the box. I'm getting ready to list it. But of those 6 other ones, 2 of those 46s have excellent compression. The one has good compression. And of the 40s, all 3 of them have what I would call excellent compression. So somebody's going to get a deal on those. I'll be posting those up soon.
That's cool.
You're not going to save the 40s to use on the combat?
I got 20 of them already, Phil.
Oh, yeah, well, that'd do it.
And I got a mess of piston and liners. I mean, literally, I got a sack full of them already. So I don't need 3 more.
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
Somebody, the 40s aren't bad if you're not looking for a stunt run. They're good on a sport plane,
Yeah, it's easy to modify those.
Yeah.
The 40s are easy to modify.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
anyway.
That's what I was doing.
Did anybody fly any over the weekend?
I flew Friday, but I told you the guys that last Friday.
Yeah,
but I haven't flown since Friday.
I flew
fly tomorrow.
Did you see Trayan?
I flew with Tryon in my backyard yesterday.
Cool deal. Cool
Saw the
deal.
video.
Yeah.
Cool deal. So
Yeah.
he got a little diversion from his trip. That's good.
I fed him
That's good.
too. Yeah.
Oh, very
That's
nice.
good.
Fed him lunch. We flew the electric control line plane back there, and then we just hung out and chewed the fat in the shop, so to speak, for a little while. So
Good deal.
I'm sure he'll be on here tonight
I hope.
at some point.
So did you get a chance to look at those molds?
No, they were packed up and in the back of his car, so I didn't. I was trying to give him an airplane to take home for Alexander, but he didn't have room in the car for it. I was trying to give him a Pathfinder to take home to his son, but his car was full. He had stuff in the trunk and he had stuff in the back seat, so he didn't have room for an airplane. So next time, maybe. Next time. Yeah.
I got a comment from the chat box. Timothy DeBoard says, after 48 years of construction, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm sure he's referring to you, John.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was Timothy DeBoard.
Well, I'll tell you what. I finally got to fly the Humbug, and that little 25 is hot. but it is not broke in. That's the first one I've got off eBay that said used, and I put it in the plane figuring, well, if it's used, it's broke in. It's still belching black, so I'm pulled it off the plane. I'm gonna run it on the test stand tomorrow. That thing's got enough compression. I believe it'll run 0 nitro.
Probably.
I honestly
What
believe
25 is it, Phil? What kind?
SF.
Oh, that's
OS,
oh yeah, that's a powerful
OSSF.
motor, man. Yeah.
Man, the bearings sounded terrible when I got it, but Tommy took it apart and he said, I can fix that. He took it apart and cleaned it up. And I honestly don't know whether he cleaned up the bearings that was in it or went and bought some Bocas and put in it, because with loop, you just never know.
Yeah.
But, man, that thing runs nice. One flip, I mean, just back flipping it was running, and took off and flew it on the article says that he flew a 34 or 32, OS 32, on a 11.4 cut to 9.4, or cut to 9 3/4 4. And he cut the tip out real scimitar. So I put that vest prop on it. It's real scimitar, and it's a 10.4. I figured, well, if it sounds like it's binding, I'll put a smaller prop on it. Well, it sounded like it was binding, so I went to a 9.4. It was just a 9.4, and it's still throwing black crap. So it just flat needs some more break-in time. But man, that little thing screams. It's got a beautiful sound to it, but it runs like a tuned pipe. I didn't get
those SFs are strong motors. I had a couple of the 40s for RC planes back in the day. You know, Phil, is that the same choke area as like a regular another OS 25? You might put a 25 carburetor on it and break it in like an RC motor with a carb.
I thought about that.
Measure it. I think I got some 25 RC carbs in here from the LAs, and I know the LAs and the FPs are interchangeable. I don't know if that SS.
I'll check it. I know it's got a 40 FP muffler on it.
Oh, really?
I cut it down to where it don't look anything like an OS muffler, but that's really what it is. It's one of the old ones that exit out the back. I like those. I don't know why, but I really like the looks of those. And I cleaned that thing up, took all the fins off it, and polished it up. And everybody at the field was, what kind of muffler is that? Where do I get one of those? I thought, you take one of those stock ones and you take a file and some sandpaper and you get busy. You get chinky with it, because it takes.
Here comes Howard Rush.
I put mine on the belt sander, Phil.
That's the best way.
I use the belt sander to clean mine up.
I used a file. I loaned my belt sander out years ago and never got it back, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get another one of these days.
I would consider putting a carb on that and put it on a test stand.
I may do that. How you doing, Howard? Good to see you.
All right.
Well, that thing is, all I can tell you is that is one strong little motor. And that plane that I flew at Watt's party, that little Sig Skyray with a Fox 35, I flew that and put my first pattern on it. I've got my first Fox I can't tame. I'm going to change the needle valve. It's all it could be. That thing runs like it thinks it's a race motor. It took off at 7,400 RPM because 77 was too much. It took off at 74, and as soon as it broke the ground, it went to got to be 10 and was screaming. I was running 4-second laps.
That's fast.
Mean, not 4.6, 4 flat laps.
That is super fast. That's like combat plane fast.
Just put 70-foot lines on it. You'll be okay, man.
I'm gonna put another needle valve in it and try that. That thing's too fast for me. I'm too old for this crap. But I put a stick in it in the Venturi. I'd seen somebody do that at the Nats. I put a stick in the back of the Venturi and taped it on back there, and it seemed to slow it down a little bit, but not enough. I was able to get a pattern out of it, but boy, I'm glad there was no judges. It was awful. I can stall that thing. It'd go up and just shudder through the maneuvers. It was sick looking, but it's still in one piece, so it's all right. But
how well does it needle, Phil? Does it needle good?
It doesn't needle worth a darn.
Try going to a bigger Venturi.
Yeah, I believe that's what I might need to do. I was just trying something because I didn't know where to start. But I've never had a Fox do that before. But I've never run what the guys would call a coffin needle before. It's one that looks like it comes down straight and they just sliced off one side of it. I didn't even know Fox had anything like that. But I'm gonna look through my box of stuff and see if I don't have an old pen type or something.
Give Randy Smith a call. He's got a great needle for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm going down to see Randy when I go to see Trey, and I'm going by and see Randy. He owns Stiletto 12 now. And I want to see that bird again. Last time I saw that thing was 30-some years ago. I thought that was the prettiest model I'd ever seen in my life. Les did one whale of a job on that plane. It's gorgeous. It's an I-beam. Everybody told me it's not an I-beam. It's not an I-beam. I said, the one I saw was an I-beam. So I called Randy, and he says it definitely is an I-beam. So I'm gonna go down and take some pictures of it. I said, I don't want to fly it. I don't want to see you fly it. I don't want to act stupid. I just want to come and take some pictures of it and maybe take some measurements off of it, because that is one pretty model. But Randy agreed. He said, I'll try to be here. Just call me, let me know ahead of time so I can try to be here. And I told him I'm going to pick up some stuff while I'm there. But Randy's a mess, man. He's a busy cat, but he's a good guy. But I want to get down and see that plane again and see what all I can get into. He flew that, the last time I saw that plane, he flew it he brought it to, I can't remember if he flew it or not, but he flew it he did fly it at our 4As here in Winston. And it was just gorgeous. That was the prettiest model. He flew it at the Worlds, and that was the last flight. He flew it at the Worlds and won the World Championships. That's the last time it was flown and the last time Randy flew. And Les flew. And I just really like that model. Something about the mystique of that model just turned me on. So I'm going to go see it. But I tell you what, guys, some of these planes are really nice. There was a guy here in town just moved to town this week. I was out trying to help him. I met him out at Hobby Park. He wanted to come out to Hobby and see the place, and I was out there to see what kind of mess it was in. He's got some stuff that would interest Howard. It looked like had a couple of old impacts. And when I say old impacts, I mean old impacts with 40 VFs in them. And I mean, tell you, that old man can fly. John, don't give up, brother. This guy makes you look like a young fella. He can still fly.
Oh, that's good.
Said he was 82 years old and he was moving home. Said this is where he was from. He's moving home. And that man can still fly. He said, the only thing about it, I'm scared to get my fingers out of this bologna slicer. I said, you let me start it. Man, he said that motor hadn't been started in 15 years. We played with it a few minutes, just running it to get some oil through it, and then flipped it backwards one time, and it was running. I grabbed the prop, put my thumb on the spinner, and grabbed the prop and flipped it, and it started. Now, it belched out some god-awful mess that was in the pipe, but it started. And
Who
it
is
ran.
that?
And that old man can fly. I can't remember his name. I've got it written down.
Oh.
That backflip is a great way to start them, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I like that
It's
too.
also a way to get my fingers out of the way quick.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. That is
the hub
it's a
don't bite
safer
you
way.
near as bad as the tips. All these guys won't take it, flip them like it. You know, they'll take a prop and spinner's where my thumb is, and they'll want to pop it out here. I'm sitting there, hey, dum-dum, that other blade's coming around there pretty quick. But if you flip it in here, the worst you can do, you're flipping the thing out, you're getting your finger out of the way of it.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
Yeah.
I don't understand people. And then they get cut and wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, you stick your finger in a bologna slicer, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you guys, when Mike Lonke gets back, he wanted to speak. So when he gets back, let him come in and say something. He might have been wanting to say he had to go, and he just left. So maybe when he comes back, he'll say, it was nothing. I was just going to tell you I was going to be right back. And let me get back to the chat box here. Timothy, the board says, I went nuts this weekend. I picked up a Brodak 049 and a Brodak 25, 3 kits, all Carl Goldberg, a shoestring, a Cosmic Wind, and a Banshee. Well, how much do those things cost you, Timothy?
God.
But that sounds like a really good find. And Greg Biswick says, Charles, would you ask Phil if he would PM me on how to modify an LA-40 for a stunt run? It's
easy.
So
It's easy.
That's Greg Biswick.
Just go ahead and tell us, Phil.
The thing I did to them, the thing I do to mine, and I don't do that much.
Hey, Carl.
I say you're not doing enough.
Hey, Charles.
But I go in and raise the. I always do it with a degree wheel and just degree the engine, but it always ends up you raise the intake ports about 10 thousandths. But you change the port timing from being a straight cut in to round. Just don't bother cutting. I need a piece of paper and draw this. But if you're looking at the top of the sleeve and the bottom of the sleeve and the ports, don't mess with the exhaust port. Come over to the intake ports and raise the intake port. Just it's cut straight in. Raise that thing where you just radius it in, and don't raise the inside but 10 thousandths. That ain't much, folks. You're talking about a brass sleeve. It don't take much. But raise it 10 thousandths, then go inside with a sharp knife and make sure you scratch that thing on the inside to get rid of any burrs. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to raise anything. Get rid of the burrs where you don't muck up your piston. It's aluminum. It is soft. Clean it up good. Take your time is the big thing. Then go in there and rub it with your finger. If you feel anything rough, work on it some more. Get all the rough out. Okay, that's all you do to the sleeve. 10 thousandths, but do both ports. Everybody says, oh, one port's enough. No, it's got two ports for a reason. Raise both ports 10 thousandths. Then hemi that head out. Take about half of the squash band, or the head looks like a hemi anyway, and it's flat, but it's kind of thick out here. Get rid of about half of that and just hemi it in. You don't want to go any deeper. You don't need to go any deeper, but just carve it out. Tom Looper does it with a pocket knife at the field. That's where I learned to do it. Anyway, just scrape that out and then put one extra head gasket in it. I make them out of Coke cans or Pepsi. I use Pepsi because I drink Pepsi, but take a Pepsi can and get a gasket maker from Jim Lee and cut the outside ring first and then cut the inside ring. Guys want to cut the inside ring and then can't figure out why they can't get the outside ring right.
Yeah, right.
How
right.
the heck are you going to hold it? But you don't go all the way through. You do the outside ring and don't go quite all the way through. I mean, you're going to see it bust through in a couple places, but don't go through everywhere. Then do the inside ring and don't go all the way through. Then go back, finish the outside ring, get it out of the way, finish the inside ring, and you got to get one gasket, one head gasket.
Good.
Make three. Put one in it, take it out and run it. If it still breaks too hard, put another one in it. It's all trial and error. And it makes a difference if you're John's altitude or mine. Go ahead, John.
I was going to ask a question. Have you tried, rather than lowering the compression, just going to FAI fuel? No nitro?
I have not. No, I have not. I'm going to do that on the one I'm working on now. But most people want to run 5 to 10%. And I mean, I just do it as a general thing. That's the way I do it. But I am just right now, the one I'm working on right now, I put one head gasket in it. I put it on the plane and I'm going to take it and run it with FAI fuel. No nitro for those who have wonder. It's just no nitro fuel, alcohol and oil, and try that and see what happens. But I think that'll probably cure the problem.
You mean methanol and oil, right?
Yeah, methanol.
We don't
I
agree
with it.
and doing it with alcohol.
Oh no.
Yeah, methanol, audience. Methanol.
You gotta use methanol. And if anybody's wondering where to get that, if you got a drag race shop near you or you got a go-kart racing shop near you, you can buy the motor oil, you can buy the 2-cycle oil, which is just clots, and you can buy the alcohol from them. 5 gallons is about, I think I gave $27 for 5 gallons. I can't remember what the oil was, but it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't ridiculous. It ends up costing you about $6 a gallon to make your fuel. The last time I bought 5%, it was $27 a gallon. Sports fans, you can save a lot of money going FAI.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I'm trying to do this year is go FAI on my fuel and electric. Biggest thing I'm going electric, but I got a lot of old airplanes. Yeah. I'm not going to just, for old time and classic, I'm not going to go electric. I'm going to go just FAI with them. And another side benefit with FAI fuel, your finish lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
Nitro can eat paint. That's another factor about nitromethane. I see Mike Malanke's back. Mike, I know that you wanted to say something. You might have just wanted to tell us she's going to be right back, right?
Oh, no. Actually, I was going to tell Howard something. Howard, I looked up the Raspberry Pi that you told me to look at. So I did find the one that was $35. I guess that's like generation 1. It seems like the latest one is $99 and it looks a lot better. Looks like it has a lot more memory and RAM to it. So what do you think?
I'll get the latest and the greatest.
Get the latest and greatest. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I did a bunch of reading on it. So this is a home built computer that kids can put together and learn how to program and do stuff with, and it's super cheap.
Yep.
So Howard and I were talking about it. He recommended it for Sam in the after show last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and get one then. I'll get the $100 one and we'll see what happens. But thanks for turning me on to that. It looks really cool. I think Sam will go ahead.
Phil, I think that'd be a nice demo or a nice show and tell. Either
See if I can set one up.
percent box, that percent scale for when you time the motor, or make the gaskets.
I'll see what I can do about putting it together.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I'm very interested in the engine timing, how to adjust that and stuff like that, and also how to make the gaskets out of a Pepsi can.
I'll get that together and try to have it for you Friday night. If the way this week's shaping up, if I have time, I'll do it Friday night. If not, we'll try to do it next Monday. But looks like this week's going to be busy. But we need to do that just so more people can figure out how to fly stuff. Because everybody says I do it, but it's too hard. It's not that hard. It's just people have never been told how to do it. It's simple. It's really simple. If it wasn't simple, I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm no super tech. I can do a lot of things with a lot of things. I might be able to do a lot of things, but I'm the master of none. It's just, I got friends that are very, very good motor men, but I do not understand timing a motor. They tell me what degree to raise it to and what degree the exhaust is supposed to open at, and I check a motor and see if it does that. And if it does that, it usually works. 180 and 320 are numbers to remember.
Timing wheel, I've never even seen one. I think I might have seen one a George Aldridge video.
It's just a degree. All you need is a degree wheel. Like you used as a kid as what do you call it?
Protractor.
A protractor.
A round protractor. 360 protractors. All you need. Hole in the center, enlarge the hole to where it goes on. It goes on the front of the motor, and you put the hub on to hold it in place. Get it just tight enough to where it won't slip. Ask me how I know. There you go. God, Howard, that's a nice one.
What is that? It looks like an LP.
That's a nice one.
Well, that's right. That's for those big engines he's got.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Thank you, Howard.
You want it just tight enough to where it won't slip, because and I put masking tape on both sides of mine. Since I'm gonna show y'all, you'll probably wonder what's that mess in the middle. It's masking tape to give it a grip. But I just put it on. If you get it too tight, you'll crack your wheel, and they're not that easy to find these days. A lot of the stuff that we thought we used and never thought anything about as kids, they don't do in school anymore, so it's hard to find this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, you just need that, and then you take a piece of wire and come off the side of the motor mount. Mine goes down through the motor mount and comes up, goes down the motor mount, and I put a clamp on it to clamp it to the motor mount, the lug, and that comes out and goes to the degree wheel. And you want it just to where it's just to the edge of the wheel where you can see it. All right. Then 0 is top dead center, and you just turn it through 360 without the head on it, so you can look down in it, and you just turn your wheel. And the way you do that easy is I've got a piece of propeller that I put on the front of the thing, so I got something to grab to spin. Right. And that's all you need. You just turn the motor through and check the degrees and see where it opens. Where you got to have a light, and you shine the light in the exhaust port and look and see when the exhaust opens, when the exhaust closes. Then you have to shine it down in the cylinder to see when the intake opens and close. Run it down and see where the intake opens. That's all there is to it.
I think that'd
Mike
be
Garman
great.
showed me that. Mike Garman showed me how to do that years ago. And Mike was a motor man. We've lost a lot in the last few years. We lost Mike and a bunch of the guys from Virginia. And I understand. I'm having one of those nights I can't remember names. But Willis Swindell was another one, and then the one that's left, John Tate. I understand it's not doing real well. He's having some problems. I hope he's all right. I haven't talked to him. But those guys are motor men, and they could teach you more in 10 minutes than you can learn in a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was some neat stuff.
You know, I was wondering, I've been working on my motors lately. I've been working on my K77s and my Stalker 81s, changing the bearings out. And I was looking on the Boca website, and I saw that they have the silicon ball bearings. They're like 40% of the weight of the steel bearings. And I was thinking, this is something I was just kicking around, that some of those motors that we like all the power, but there's a weight penalty. Maybe we can make them more stunt worthy if we want to invest. I mean, silicone or those ball bearings are expensive, but it would lighten the motor up. That maybe it wouldn't be such a weight penalty if we lighten the bearings up.
Check and make sure that they'll stand the heat and all that. And
are they silicone or ceramic?
Oh, I'm sorry, ceramic.
Okay, ceramic will work. Yeah.
Yeah,
ceramic bearings.
40% of the weight of the stainless steel ball bearings.
Yeah, Henry offered the last batch of Nelsons with ceramic bearings for like a $10 upgrade. I don't know anybody. Well, I know some guys that got them, but none of them have run them, so I can't tell you.
Well, I run them on my fishing reels and my bicycles, so I'm telling you, I've never tried one in a model airplane motor. I just can't speak to that one because I've never even seen one run. But it sure seems like it ought to be an upgrade. They sure make a set of bicycle wheels turn better, and they do wonders for a fishing rod. It's amazing what they do for a fishing reel. Your cast distance goes up greatly, so it would have to work if they'll seal. If they'll seal, got to remember now, in a model airplane motor, those gaskets have to seal the motor too. And most times, ceramic bearings do not have seals on, the ones I've seen. So if they have them that will work, will do the job, that could be a heck of an upgrade. And it would be much lighter. They're much lighter. I got to look into that now. Dadgummit, you gave me something to look at now, darn it.
Yeah.
I need something else to look at.
Yeah, those in the audience too, consider that.
Yeah.
And maybe do it for us and then come back and report, tell us how it worked.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So, Carl, how are you doing, Carl?
I don't think he heard you.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just another day getting close to retirement.
Good.
I highly recommend it, Carl.
Yeah, well, I'm 2 years at the most. Maybe this year after I turn 65. I haven't decided yet. So
I retired at 60 because I just couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I find myself, 10 years ago, when it was time to go to work, I don't know if you experienced this or not, but I couldn't wait to get to work and start turning wrenches and start sneaking out drain lines. I was excited to be there. And whenever we had a drain call at the hospital, I would get really excited, but now when I get a drain call, I'll get it in a couple of hours. No big deal. Or sometimes I'll do it tomorrow.
You've got to be kidding.
I lost that sand or that grit or that drive that you used to have when you're younger. So
that's part of age.
What you mean.
That's part of age. Yeah.
I tell you what, when I was 30, traffic signals, they'd call me at they call you at 4:00 in the morning, and you look out the window and it's cold, it's raining, or it's snowing, or it's sleeting. You get dressed and you go anyway. But when you hit 60 and you've done this for 30 years, you look out the door and it's snowing. It's no longer fun.
I know.
It is no longer fun. And busting your knuckles and busting your backside and everything else, climbing telephone poles and all that crap. No. No.
Many years ago, I had a good friend that I worked with. One of his drain lines redone underneath his house, and it's all cast iron. That's a cross space. Plenty of room to work, So I would go into like Game Busters and cut it out and do it. And his neighbor wanted his done, his neighbor wanted his done. I go, this is great. And then about 2 years, 3 years after that, I got a call from a friend to do the same thing, and I get underneath the house and I go, "What am I doing this for?" I go,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, $800." So I kept working, and now I could care less. I just don't
Yeah,
want to.
that happens. That definitely happens to all of us. Let me get to the stats of the show. We have 15 concurrent viewers. We've had 11 likes, 0 chat revenue. So please consider donating. Those of you that are watching, like I said on the monologue, the only time you can really support the show through super chats is during a live broadcast. So if you're watching, please consider donating. I think it'd be money well spent to promote this hobby we all obviously love and are crazy about. At least I'm crazy about it. I got another like just while talking, so thank you for that gentlewoman or gentleman who gave me the like or gave us a like. Thank you. And Mark Lumen is getting ready to come in. Let me allow him in. So, anyways, we have no new members. Also, don't forget the YouTube memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, and that helps support the program. And please support the program. It helps. And so that's about it. And here comes Mark. Hey, Mark.
Yes,
Hey, Mark. Good to see you.
you betcha, buddy.
Lordy.
Yeah, I retired last June, and I was telling Charles earlier that I'm busier now than I've ever been because all the stuff you put off while you're working, this all catches up to you when you retire. So.
Ain't that the
Yeah,
truth?
Yeah.
Once you retire, you wonder how you had time enough to get anything done.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Wonder how you ever had time to work, let alone get everything else done.
Well, you know, we had an old saying in the construction field that we go to work to play and we come home to work. So
There's a lot of truth in that statement.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can remember going out and putting in an 8 to 10 hour day and then go doing a side job until midnight. You know,
Yeah, I remember that too. Golly day. Solid carbon. Nice, Howard. Very nice.
that's solid carbon that he's working on.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Howard?
It's molded carbon.
Wow.
He won't toot his own horn, so I'll tell you this. He made the cowlings for the B-17 that Paul Walker flew at Nats, and those things just weighed nothing. But I talked to Paul about them, and he said that Howard's one made them for him, and he says he's a master with a piece of carbon, and I believe it because those things just weighed nothing.
wow.
Yeah, they'd come down, they'd blow away.
Very nice.
I'm surprised he said anything nice about those because I made them in the silicone mold, and the vacuum bag pressed the cloth into the mold, so there was lumpy, and he had to do a lot of work to fill them and finish them.
Well, he's still proud of them. He still likes them.
Okay.
He credited you with them.
I know how to make them better now.
Yeah, with time, we hope we get better making things.
Well, I'll tell you
Thank
what.
you, Howard, for muting your
they
mic.
sure
It's
look good.
awesome. Thank you.
That
Appreciate
looks
it.
good.
You gonna have that done for the Nats, Howard?
I hope so.
I do too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
What color are you gonna make it? Orange?
I don't know.
You gotta go tangerine red.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll look good. I love that shade of red. A little yellow trim and white.
I'll see what color paint I got around.
There you go.
That's some pretty work. So what's everybody working on? What's everybody building?
I'm working on engines. I'm that's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah, I'm
But
trying
more
to finish
maintenance.
airplanes. I'm trying to finish airplanes and paint them.
I've been going through the computer trying to find some files. They're there somewhere, and I've used the search function, and they haven't showed up. And I'm physically going through everything, and that's been keeping me real busy for the last couple of days. And then I've, of course, this thing going on, and a couple other things. And my sister has got problems; she's in the hospital right now. So yeah, it kind of cut into my free time. And then this guy, he wants
attention. Yeah.
He wants attention. This is the big cat. This is the 18-pounder.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. Have
Go
any
for
of you dealt with Enya motors models 54, 24, 35s?
Yeah.
Well, I bought
Yeah.
one and it's got good compression and everything. And I bought it from a dealer out of Florida. His first name's Bob. I can't remember his last name.
Bob Brookins.
Yes. Bob Brooks.
Yeah,
Yes, that's it. Well, I first ran on a 15% nitro and it wouldn't stay running. And then Charles told me it was getting too hot. So then I called Bob Brooks up and he says I have to run at least 25% castrol in that motor.
Yeah.
So what I did with 10% nitro, so I bought some fuel from Brodac that's 10% nitro and 28% castrol. And I still can't get it to run. It starts up, and as soon as I take the starter off, it dies out. So then
The starter or the battery?
the starter, a rechargeable starter.
Oh, you talking about an eye starter? You talking about a
Yes.
battery? Check your
Yes.
glow plug.
Well, that's what I thought it was too. So then I went down to the hobby shop here and bought a medium hot glow plug. Cause I was thinking maybe because of the amount of castor oil in there, it wasn't keeping the glow plug hot enough.
You want a hot one?
What
So I
number
bought
was
it. So I bought a medium hot and
Hotter.
a hot. And
How-
and as soon as I pull the starter off, the thing dies.
Igniter off.
Or igniter,
You
excuse
need
me. So,
you need
so
the
the,
hottest glow plug you can get in that motor. If you're gonna run,
Yeah, I'll-
anytime you're running castor oil, you want the
Uh-huh.
hottest glow plug you can get.
okay.
You want the
Uh-oh.
Enya number 3.
Yep, that's what I
Yeah,
run.
just say it.
Number threes. Yeah.
Randy Smith sells them. Enya number 3, and that's what Randy recommends in his Aero Tigers.
Okay. Well, I was running a OS Max number 7 and number 8.
You should.
Won't run.
We're gonna do. I think the 6, the A3 number 6 is the OS's hottest plug.
Okay.
But I would just put an Enya plug in it. Put an Enya number
Right.
3.
Okay.
That's a hot plug.
Because now I don't know if it's the plug, and so now I'm kind of leaning towards that maybe my tank might be defective. So that's my next thing I'm going to do.
When you're taking the plug off of it, is it running fast or is it running slow? Is it 4 cycling or 2 cycling?
No, I get it. I try to get it on that 4-2 brake to run it a little bit rich, but then as soon as I take the igniter off, it just dies out.
Well, the only suggestion I got other than change the glow plug, I think you need a hotter glow plug, but the only suggestion would be run it a little bit leaner.
Okay.
Because
Well, I tried
those
that
things-
too, and I tried that too, and it still dies out. It won't keep running.
Phil, I'm wondering if it's broken in. I mean,
that was my next question.
Yeah.
How much run time's on it?
I
Because
can't get a
Indians
run.
are-
I can't get a run time on it. That's the problem.
you bought it brand new.
I don't know if it was brand new or refurbished. She didn't say.
Either way,
Well, the
it's probably
thing
got
with
a
Indians,
sleeve and piston. It probably needs
Is
to be
most
broken in.
Indians you get off of eBay or anywhere else, they're not broken in
Okay.
because Enya takes an extremely long time to break in.
And
Yeah, but
out,
it-
they
but it
last
should-
Once you get them broke in, they'll run forever.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it still should run without
Well, the thing is,
shutting off.
you got
Excuse
tight
me?
fits. You know, it's not like a McCoy that has a Mehanite piston and a steel cylinder. And so I don't know as whether you need as much caster, but it probably all right to go 28, 29%. But that's the old Fox mix.
Yeah,
For
well, the gentleman I bought the motor from, Bob, he said don't run it on any more than 10% nitro and at least, I think he said 25% Castrol. But
yeah,
I can't. So I went to 28 because that's all I could find on the market.
well,
So,
where do you live?
I live in Santee, California,
Okay.
San Diego area.
Yeah. You should be able to buy fuel. What you can do is buy fuel with a lower and buy some caster and do the math and add the caster, bring it up to 20, 24, 25%.
All right.
Get it up to there, run it there. Because you get too much caster, you don't. It
will flame
messes
out.
up the fuel ratio.
Yeah.
And the problem is with real tight fits, it's probably getting hard as it's kind of like seizing as it quits.
No, it doesn't seem to be. It sounds more like it runs out of fuel. That's the reason I'm kind of leaning towards my tank may be defective, but I'm just trying to come up with ideas.
Are you running a fuel filter?
Am I running a what?
Fuel filter off your
No.
tank.
No.
What kind of shape's the tank in?
Well, it's a brand new wedge tank, but I noticed it has a little dent on the top portion of the tank where the solder joint is. It's kind of caved in a little bit, so I'm thinking maybe it's sucking air through there.
Well, if it's stuck in air, that's your problem.
Yeah.
You can't have it stuck in air anywhere.
Yeah. So, all right.
We used to have a chick as kids. It worked for us. I don't think it's probably necessarily the best way to do it. But we used to take a pint can of fuel and strap it onto the mount there. We just take the fuel line for the engine and dip it in and dip it down to the bottom and start it up and hit it run. You know,
I remember guys doing that.
Well, the reason why I'm puzzled is that years ago I had an Enya 35 model 5224 and it ran great, and I had an Enya 29 and I believe it was a 29.4 1B, and that thing ran great, but it got lost in the 35. Someone got a hold of it and busted a conrod on it because it was frozen. So that's the reason why I bought this. Reason I bought this one off the. And the plane I'm trying to stick it on, it fit perfect except for the one top hole and one bottom hole. So it was real easy to change the mounting holes around to get it to fit in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll like that. You know, the engines are well made.
Yeah.
And so you got some good suggestions. Plug. Check your fuel system, make sure you don't have any air leaks, and the amount of oil you might have too much.
Okay.
Well, 5 or 10% nitro would be fine. At 20, I'd say 24%. I would say. I don't think you need to go 29%. That's a GMA fuel for Foxes.
Well, I think it's 28%.
Well, 28%. Excuse me. Yeah,
Too
but
much.
that's a lot of oil.
Okay.
I've never run over 22%, and I run 11% caster and 11% synthetic, and that works great in just darn near everything.
Now, can you run these Enyas in synthetic oil, or does it have to be Castrol?
Do a mix. You can do a 50-50 mix like Phil does.
Okay.
Yeah. 11% caster.
Do you have the square intake for the round intake, Carl?
Excuse me?
Carl, do you have
It's a wedge tank.
No. Your Venturi, is it square or is it?
Hang on a minute, I'll let you know.
I actually recently had an Indy that had the wrong needle valve in it.
Well, some of those engines came with 2 Venturis. One was
my
for
29
racing.
came with 3.
It's a round. It's a round Venturi.
Okay, so
Then it looks like it was upgraded to those Dublin plastic round Venturi.
Delrin? Yeah.
No, Delrin.
You might, that does bring an interesting thought. You might have too large of a Venturi on it.
Okay.
Because they did come with 2, was it 2 or 3 Venturis?
3. Well, the 29 I had came with 3 Venturis, and they were the square black ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if the Venturi's too big, it's having trouble drawing fuel. Unless you've got it on some kind of pressure system or running pressure, for racing and that type of thing. And so you might want to try the middle range or even the smaller one for what you're doing.
Okay. So what size should it be, or is it just a experimental thing you have to do?
Was it a 35?
Yeah. 35 model 5224.
Well, a lot of depends on the size of the needle valve assembly going through there.
One of the spray
standard size is the needle valve that came with it.
Yeah. What do you say, Howard?
I don't know anything about that.
Who was it that was saying it? Was that you?
No, I did. I just see if he checked the spray bar to see where the hole was in the Venturi.
Oh yeah.
I did. Yeah, I did that already. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pointed down, right?
Not straight down.
No, not straight down.
With an OS 40, I think we used like a .182. No, that's
what's in these.
That's awful small.
What, for the Venturi?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was bigger than that. .182 is just a little bit more than it's about what? Bigger. It's a little bit bigger than an 1/8 inch. That's pretty small.
Yeah, let me see. I got some info, I think, down in because I got a lot of engines. I'll see if I can find the paperwork on that. Hang on.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much.
And then which engine came out first? Was it the one with the square Venturi or the round Venturi?
One year they'd come out with the square, another year they'd come out with the round.
Okay.
You're sideways, buddy.
Because the case
when you take the battery off of it, does
right,
it go lean and die, or does it stay
well,
the
no.
same
What
and
I
die?
do is what I done is that if I turn the needle valve about 3 to 3.5 turns, I turn the prop, get the bump, and I start it up, and then it runs kind of lean, not over lean, but lean. And then when I pull the igniter off, it just dies out before I can get any adjustment on it to richen it up a little bit.
I think that's a plug. That sounds like the plug's dying.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe it was just running too lean or too rich, but when it dies just right away, that sounds like a plug.
What happened to you, Phil? You're sideways.
Excuse me?
I have no idea.
Carl, can you take it out of the airplane and put it on a bench and get the proper plug for it? Get an engine number 3, put it on the bench, and run it.
Okay.
I think it's a combination. I think it's too new, not broken, and not a hot enough plug.
All
and
right.
of course,
That
check your
sounds about
spray
right.
bar, check your orientation, and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right.
I wouldn't be fiddling around with it in the airplane, like going to the flying field and trying to fly with it.
No. I started up here in my backyard.
Oh, okay. All right.
As a matter of fact, I use the table. I got the laptop on. I just step out the door to the backyard here. And do it
Okay.
right
Well,
there.
and the other thing that would eliminate too, if you've got an engine test stand and a solid tank, a tank that is good, and you can get it all running on your test stand with a tank and the right plug and everything's good. If you put it in the airplane and it doesn't work, then then you'll know for sure you got a problem with your tank.
Yeah.
I don't ever hang a motor on an airplane until it's been on the bench.
Yeah.
Ever. Well, combat planes I do, because
Yeah.
they all run when you're forcing fuel into them from a bladder. They all,
Yeah. So. All right, thanks, guys.
I have a comment on glow plugs, because since we're just talking about glow plugs, I don't know if a lot of things we did when we was kids, I don't do anymore. When I was a kid, I would put the glow plug in the battery, and if it glowed, I would assume it's a good glow plug. But now that's not necessarily the definition of a good glow plug for me. I'll fly the plane, and when I see deterioration of the performance, I will see if it's glowing, but that doesn't mean I'm going to keep it. Sometimes I might put it in my pocket, put a new glow plug in, and then fly. And if it makes a difference, then I throw away that glowing glow plug away, because I don't know how to clean them. I know there's some people that will clean glow plugs and all that, but I don't. So even a glowing glow plug does not mean it's a good glow plug. Sometimes, and I had experience at a contest several years ago. I was trying to get my Super Tiger 51 to keep running, and the guys there were saying, you need to change that glow plug. I go, well, I just changed it. And they go, well, you need a new glow plug. But I said, I just put a brand new glow plug in it. And they go, not all new glow plugs are good. And I said, well, I don't have any more glow plugs. I don't have any more new glow plugs. I had used glow plugs. And then a friend of mine there, Bill Biles, he goes, here, Charles. And he had like a Thunder
Tiger.
A Thunderbolt plug?
Thunderbolt, yeah.
Plug, or maybe it was John Wright. So if it's either John Wright or Bill Biles, forgive me if you're listening. He gave me the new one out of the package, put that new glow plug in, bang, it ran fantastic. So sometimes glow plugs are kind of mysterious. They could be glowing, but they're not a good glow plug. That's what I want to just say anyway. That's my comment.
Diesels.
Another thing you could check your glow plug itself. I bought 10 glow plugs from, I'm not going to say from who, but anyway, I bought 10 glow plugs, and they came in, and that is weird. I'm sideways on my camera.
I know. I see it.
I don't know what's going on. I'm on.
Can you turn your phone sideways?
Well, it's not a phone, but
now you're upset. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That works. All right. Anyway, I can't hold it like this. I'll get out in a minute. I'll go out and come back in a minute. Anyway, we bought 10 glow plugs, and I tried them in the plane, and as soon as you take the battery off, it quit. Look at your coils and see if your coils come all the way to the end of the plug like they're supposed to, because these didn't. And I tried to send them back, and the guy that actually manufactured them was trying to make it good, and then COVID happened and everything went to heck, and I never did get my plug, so I'm just out $100. But anyway.
No, I was told the difference between how hot the glow plug is how long the coil is, right? The shorter it is, the hotter it is. Is that correct? Or the other way around? Or the diameter of the coil itself?
It's a lot of things. It's the diameter of the coil, the length of the coil, the material it's made out of, because some metals glow. Some metals will take white heat and other metals won't.
Correct.
So it's a lot of things. People that tell you that, oh, this is all that matters. No.
Okay.
No, a lot of things matter. But anyway, try a different glow plug. Try a different manufacturer glow plug. That Enya number 3, I don't think, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever had a bad Enya plug.
Okay.
So it's they're hard to beat. But some of the others, like the Fox Miracle plugs, I put one of those in at a contest because I thought one was going bad. Took off, and as soon as I went inverted, the motor died, and I landed a brand new plane inverted at Virginia.
Ooh.
And man, That was a bad day.
That's a bad day.
That was a bad day.
How many pieces did you end up with?
Oh, it was just one piece. It just ground off the end of the rudder, the canopy, and spot on the nose and dinged up the prop. But it was just that the plane only had about 25 flights on it, and
gosh,
I should not have been flying it there at all. But I just wanted to fly it, and it cost me. I had to come home and repaint. But you know, it's easy enough to fix. But it's just you got to fix it.
Time consuming though.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt you guys for a second. Let me interrupt. Pardon me.
All right.
Hey, Gerald Wimmer, he came in and he gave us a $10 super chat, and thank you very much, Gerald.
Gerald is always doing that. What a guy.
I know Gerald is. I'm telling you, this guy has been contributing for years. I mean, so just I wish other people would step up like Gerald. Again, you guys inside the show, don't feel any pressure. You guys are contributing by showing up.
Way to go, Gerald.
I appreciate you guys coming, Gerald. But I'm just saying, I really appreciate Gerald, and Gerald does it. Al Fierro does it. I think Greg Biswick has, and others. If you can, I know we're out of a situation of the economy, not everybody can afford to contribute. So I don't want to appear to be insensitive to that. Not all of us can help, but I really appreciate it, Gerald. I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you so much. And Gerald says, hello, Charles, and all of those on Stunt Hangar. Hello, Gerald.
Hello, Gerald.
Hello, Gerald.
Yeah,
Charles,
Max and Otto, come on in.
Well, buddy.
Come on in.
Charles, I thought you were going to start paying us. Aren't we like television stars now?
Yeah,
Are we going to start getting paid?
Oh, that's funny.
Charles,
I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild, man. I want scale for my work on here.
Yes.
For the money and the women, Charles. I mean,
you get all that rarefied air, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Go ahead. I just wanted to say something because Gerald popped up with that. It got my attention. So thank you very much, Gerald. And go ahead, guys. Continue on, please.
Who'd you say was coming in?
Walter Ublin's coming in. He said he gave me a thumbs up and he was coming in, but I invited Gerald Wimmer to come in. I said, have Max and Otto, come on in, and your wife and your sister-in-law, come on in.
Did you say we had somebody from Argentina?
Yeah, Greg Biswick from Argentina.
I didn't know he's in Argentina.
Am I correct, Greg? If I'm incorrect, please correct me. I
thought he was an Aussie or a New Zealander or something.
Wow, look at this, you guys. John, your name is difficult for me. John Shudakalek? Skukalek. Thank you.
John used to come out with Dusty all the time.
And I think he's came in here at least once. And John, he just donated $20. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. I know Sparky appreciates that immensely. So thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. You're tugging at my heartstrings here, Charles. I'm going to log out for a minute.
No. Just do a show and tell or just do what you do. You guys are, trust me, if you guys weren't showing up, maybe you couldn't support this show enough without you guys being here. So, I mean, you guys coming in is the show. So
that's the rarefied air.
Yeah, don't feel obligated to donate when you're in the show. If you have it, great. I mean, we all love this hobby. I mean, I'm giving planes away just like you are, and helping Carl, I'm helping Joe, I'm helping anybody I can help. Who doesn't, who needs my help. Not everyone needs my help. So there are people who know more than I do, but anybody that needs my help, I'm gracious and anxious to help. Isn't that right, Carl? His mic is muted.
Yeah.
You're still muted, but I think you're going to say yes. That's right, Charles. No, you're still muted. You're still muted, Carl.
And the reason why I keep my mic muted is so that it lessens the background noise for everybody.
I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Mike Lonke is an insult to call an Australian and New Zealand. So rude. Ha ha.
I was going to say something about that, but
So I'm mistaken, Greg. I thought you was from Argentina. Maybe you was there for some reason, or maybe you know someone in Argentina who was giving Sparky some help with the wood. So I just assumed you was from Argentina, but forgive me. So,
Sparky's got an inside connection in Argentina. Now we the truth comes out.
And then Greg
was getting all his light wood.
Greg goes on to say that Stunthangar is a fantastic resource and so terribly underfunded. And yeah, that is true. You know, that is so true. But you know, unfortunately, you know, that 80-20 rule, you know, where 20% does more than the 80% does. You know, that's how it is. That's how a lot of things are, right? And then Greg says, "All good, Charles." Okay, so now I know, Greg, it's Australian. Forgive me, Australian. All right.
So I got some paperwork here on the 35 because I got a lot of Enyas, and they're calling for if you're using a number 3 plug, 20% nitro, and 20% castor oil, and let's see for nitro, 5% nitro.
there you go. That sounds right.
5% nitro and 20% castor, and they're calling if it hasn't been broken in, you're looking at like an hour and a half.
Oh, so I should be running 5% nitro?
That's what the paperwork I got with the engine. Now this
5224.
This 5224 I have is back from the 70s, so it's a bushed engine. So,
Okay, and how much castor oil?
20%.
Okay, all right.
And I think that's what I used to run. I just run the Brodax stuff now, and it's I haven't had any problem with that, but other than it being sloppy, when you're running.
What size prop does it call for?
10.6.
Yeah, that's what I got on there.
Okay. And do you have a gasket between the Venturi and the valve body? There's supposed to be a gasket in there. Right.
Yeah, right below the Venturi.
Yep, right there.
I'm not sure. I didn't know because it's around, and I don't know if there's one in there or not.
But you should be able to see. You should be able to see the black line.
All right. Hang on a minute.
I have one like that. It runs like a top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll run forever.
Yeah. Once you get them broke in, but man, they're some of the ones I've had. Just
yeah, there is.
Okay.
So.
And let's see, inventory. I'm trying to see.
Have you ever set these Enyas out with a Super Tiger needle valve and spray bar?
What's that?
Have you ever used your Enyas with a Super Tiger spray bar and needle valve assembly?
No, I got one, but I haven't run it. There's one in my stash, but I always run the Enya needle valve.
Okay. All right.
And you made a pretty good one.
Yeah, I've never had any problems with it. They dial in pretty good.
Yeah. Well, this, like I said, the other two I had ran great, and I just can't understand why I can't get this one started, or why I can't get it to keep running. But maybe it's due to everything we talked about not being broken in, and maybe the nitro's too high and too much castor oil.
I'm thinking it's a fuel issue, but
okay, yeah.
I would run a number 3, like Mike said, get a number 3 plug.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hope it works. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. As soon as I get it going, I'll let you know what I found out.
Well, you know what? Mike Lonke is blown me away. Mike Lonke donated $50.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa, Michael.
You done
This
good,
is,
Mike.
fantastic, Mike. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
None of this.
Sparky really appreciates it. And
You're
I'm
welcome,
sure,
Charles.
I'm sure when he sees the
Just,
chat revenue, he'll think I'm doing my job. So
Well, considering I just stole all that stuff last week and I stand to make some pretty decent money off all those recent acquisitions, I'll throw some your way. So
thank you so much. I'm sure Sparky's gonna notice that, because tonight, right now, our chat revenue is up to $80, but for the chat, but we actually see $77.18. YouTube takes their cut.
yeah.
And
So I'm sure, I just have to remember, because I'm on Sam's computer and I just linked my PayPal account to his Google account. So I got to make sure I get that out of there.
Yeah. I know.
He'll be buying everything under the sun on my PayPal account.
My daughter, she does Reebok, a game called Rebucks or Roblox.
Roblox. Yeah.
And I saw some money coming out of my account, for a while, for a couple months, and I was just like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, Sam's into that too. Both my kids are into Roblox real big. Actually, Howard and I were talking about it in the after show last week. That's how we got onto the Raspberry Pi computer. Because, have you ever watched your kids play Roblox? They can build airplanes and cars and boats, and they can design them and build them. And if they're aerodynamically correct, they'll fly properly. But if they're not right and they're not balanced properly, they fly like turds. It's actually it is a kind of a video game, but they learn stuff while they're doing it. They learn how to build stuff, and it has to be put together properly if it's going to fly, especially. So, I know the Roblox thing. Here's a hot tip for that, Charles. You get your daughter a Visa card that you can load money on, and you just put their allowance on it, and then take your bank account off of there. That's what we did with Sam.
Yeah,
just get them their own reloadable.
I made her pay me back, so that was that was a good lesson. Trust me, she's not doing that ever again. So, hey Walter, how you doing, Walter?
All right, yourselves.
And Joe Wimmer's coming in. Fantastic.
Nope, I'm good. You say sour. I just
tasted
it. Can I have a new glass?
It's Lynn. All right, Howard, go ahead. Howard wants to say something.
You said this before, but how do you donate?
Okay, there's a box. I don't know if you can see it. Do you see the chat box? On the right side of the screen is a chat box.
Right side. Yeah, I found the chat thing. Okay.
Yeah, so right down the bottom is a big dollar sign next to the smiley logo. The very bottom is a dollar sign.
I see no. Oh no, see no dollar sign.
It's not on the 8x8, Charles. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. I got two screens up.
You got to be looking at YouTube, and if you're in the show, Howard, you got to open another tab and watch the Stunt Hangar YouTube and be logged into YouTube to donate. Okay. You can't do it through 8x8, which is what we're on right now.
Okay.
And you need to mute the YouTube so it doesn't cause a looping when you're on the other tab. Make sure you mute it.
Just mute yourself. Yeah.
Can I do it later?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, please please just
you can only give money when the YouTube channel's up and going. You can't donate later. I don't think.
That's right.
Well, all right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do it on a live.
Yeah, you got to be live. Hey, thanks, Mike, for that $50. Okay. I don't know if Charles told you, but he pays me not to come on here. And he hasn't been giving me any money lately.
Well, hell, Steve, I'll pay you. I think we'll all pay you not to come on.
There you go. You guys got to kick it in. I told him to let everybody know. I haven't seen anything in my PayPal account, so I get on.
There's Gerald, but it looks like he locked up there.
You know, Charles, I should have just subscribed for 10 months for my $50. I should have done that.
Either way, I mean,
didn't even think about
I
that.
don't know if they take out more for the super chat or they take out more for the memberships. I don't know. You know, Sparky knows the money side of this channel more than I do. But anyways, let me comment on the chat box. This is regarding you, Mike. Greg says, I don't understand. Oh, excuse me. This is the next one's about you, but this one's different. I don't understand how people can spend thousands of dollars on the hobby, use Stunt Hangar as a reference tool, a selling place, and communication outlet, but to get $20 out of them is impossible. Then he goes on to say, good for you, Mike. I forgive you for your New Zealand slur. And then he goes on to say, you can donate through the Stunt Hangar forum as well.
Well, thank you, Craig. I'm glad you retract your statement and you forgive me for my confusing New Zealanders with Aussies. Man, that's all the way on the other side of the world, you know? I guess I failed geography.
At least you guys got the hemisphere right. I mean, for an American, that's pretty good. We get the hemisphere right.
But I would prefer you make the donations either through the YouTube memberships here or the super chat here, just so that Sparky sees, you know, I'm doing a good job here.
Okay.
So, anyways, hey Peter, you know what? Forgive me. Is that Peter or is that John?
That's Peter.
Okay.
That's Peter.
All right, Peter. You look different in that room. I hardly ever seen you in that room. Wow. And
What happened to Gerald? He had a real poor connection.
yeah, hopefully he'll come back in. Anyways, hi Steve and hi Peter.
Hey Steve and Pete, how are you?
Hey Steve.
How's it going?
It's going, brother. As long as it keeps going, we're all right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was emailing back and forth with Mr. Inya, and I was having a problem breaking one in. And he texted me back and said, Inyas don't like lots of oil. And that was his quote.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
like
but what's lots of oil though?
I told him I was running 22%.
Okay.
And he told me, you know, what I've been finding out, if you run regular glow fuel or even run like stalkers, they run great. But, you know, because they're a bypass type motor like a stalker. And we tend to put a lot of oil in our fuel for Schnurl ported motors. But they don't run that much oil or nitro there in Europe or in Japan. It's, you know,
too much oil will put the flame out.
I'm hearing a lot of feedback, guys. Sounds like someone's got one of those things in their throat. That's what I'm hearing on my end.
Yeah, me too.
And I even tried muting my mic to see if it was my fault.
I heard it once.
It's just an Enya.
Oh, that's
There it is. It's coming out of Canada.
Hey guys.
Hey Lynn.
It's that long distance power he's pulling.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Lynn. Thank you very much, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey Charles.
So, Peter, what, you get kicked out of your shop or what?
He's muted.
Oh, he's muted. Yeah.
How's your back, Steve?
It's doing better. Every day a little bit better. I can actually walk fairly decent.
Squeezing those pillows.
Yeah.
It really helps.
The pillow trip works, doesn't it?
Well, it made me hurt so bad at first, you know. That's why I told Peter. I said, I ain't never doing this again. But then the day after, it started getting better. It's like it put my hips back in place, or.
Yep.
But I mean, when I woke up about 4 hours later, with that pillow still between my legs, I thought I was going to die. I mean, it hurt so bad that I'd take a pill out later. Oh my God, try to stretch and stuff. But yeah, since I did it, it helped.
If you're constantly like this and in your pain, you do something to go like that, you're going to be in more pain until the next day. And that's what Peter and I were trying to tell you. Just try it out for a day or two. I think we said a day or two. And you're going to see a big difference. I've been out of work 30 years, and I do it when I'm in severe pain. And it helps. It helps.
I think,
Yeah,
I think
I'm getting back,
you can find that out.
I'm getting back to normal pain now, so I feel a lot better under normal pain. It's not like I feel good, but at least I can go up and down the stairs of the basement. I've done it twice today. I haven't did it a lot, but I can walk up and down the stairs now and stuff like that. Use the handrails and get out of the basement.
I got one question for you.
What's that?
What the heck is normal? The last year has forced me to understand that I don't know what normal is anymore. Every day is an experience. Every day is something new. But
that's right.
I'm darn if I know what normal is anymore.
Well, normal for me is that I can sleep like 2 hours, then I have to switch onto my other side, and I do that all night long. But when I was hurting so bad, I wasn't sleeping more than 15, 20 minutes at a time. The pain was so bad.
I've had nights like that.
I had a night like that last night.
Yeah, I went 3 weeks like that. I mean, I was just losing my mind. I was.
You didn't have much to lose.
Yeah,
I could see that one coming.
Oh, I couldn't help it.
He don't
just threw it out there like a big old softball.
Yeah, but see, one thing is that I don't lose my mind really. I just misplace it. Like I do everything else.
So Walter, what plane you got there?
I'll show you when I'm done cleaning off 5 years of dust.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say clean off the oil from flying today, or this weekend, but I guess not, huh?
I don't fly anymore. This is my son's. There was a post on Stunt Hangar a while back. He built an airplane. I was trying to design, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. Don't beat me up, John. I was trying to redesign a design that John was actually did for a guy. Okay. Can you turn on the light here?
Wow.
Okay. This
Looks like a Kiyosaki.
It looks a lot like a Kiyosaki.
No,
not near enough wing, but
don't call it a Kiyosaki, please. Okay, the last guy that said that almost screwed up me selling a kit for a long time. This is what John designed the pre-Kiyosaki for the guy that he was hired to draw plans for.
Wasn't the Kiyosaki?
With the exception of it had no canopy. Okay? I took it and I cut 2 panels or 3 panels out. I cut out a few inches and I made it a take apart in my design. The tail section comes off. Okay. I don't know. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The tail section comes off. The wing comes out. Now, this model had 5 flights, and every single one of them, they hit nose first. We did not realize until we got home that there was a split in the wing. And when I went back and looked at my notes and my plans, I realized that I didn't put a dowel, a locator pin in the wing here or here. So the foam was just glued to the plywood. So if I unscrew this and unscrew here, here, and here, theoretically it will come out, and there's inside is a big triple plywood piece that gets bolted in place, and then the bell crank obviously goes. A little bit of a design flaw on my part because I didn't stay with what he did, because I needed the bell crank outside. Okay. I later, the hell with you. I later, now my son built this whole plane. Okay. And what this plane is built from, the reason I'm showing it is because Mike and I had a long conversation about trying to push product to the normal world or abnormal world and to come up with a design. And I was thinking about it today and said, considering that my young son built this airplane completely all by himself, it's got 2 pieces of 1/8 balsa internally with some crisscross, and then it's covered with laminated over that on both sides with light ply, 1/8 light ply. I'm not kidding you. This thing hit 4 or 5 times nose first, and we didn't realize that there was any damage until we got home, you know. But if you want to see it, you can search for it. It's called the Boss 2, and it's on Stunt Hangar. You know, my son Jesse built it, and we haven't flown it. He hasn't flown it since. Anyway, so it's got a lot of wingtip weight, as you can see. Well, we were out at the field, and it was really, really windy. Okay, and it was one of those days where I mentioned on another thing, you know, mommy and grandma are there. Oh, we got to see the plane fly, you know. But I thought I would show that to you guys. I can bring it up, but essentially that model larger is what the Sakatumi was or became.
Yeah.
Did I say that right, John?
It's derived, the Sakatumi is derived from the Boss.
From the Boss, which never really made it out there.
No.
Because what the guy did was he took the Boss that John drew and I laser cut, and he just changed the body shape. And I believe he changed the rudder a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, you know, and he just changed the body a little bit. And the Sakatumi has got to be one of the best flying profiles out there, because out of all of them that are out there, I've only heard one guy complain, and I'm not going to tell you his name because he always complains. You know, don't say it because that'll get me in trouble. But no, I'm dead serious, okay? And it looks like a combat plane. You can modify it if you like. If I was to do something with it, has anybody seen that build thread that my son did, or that I did for my son? It was a few years ago.
I wonder why I didn't see it.
I don't remember it either.
I don't remember it
But
either.
I have a question, Walter. On the outboard wingtip, on the fence, that's where you attach the tip weight?
Yeah.
That is a neat idea.
Yeah, and the problem is, look at that, a Sakatumi.
Let me
So you could see the similarities.
hang on, you guys. Let me catch up here. Lynn got knocked out and is back in. And this here's Mike. You're showing us what, Mike?
One of Walter's. This is the Sakatumi.
Oh, very cool.
This is one I built 6 years ago.
I like the
Can we
geodetic
show
wings.
build it?
I didn't know
Finished
I didn't know it had geodetic wings.
Finished in ultra coat. I got a Tom Dixon LA 46 on it. Hobby King carbon fiber landing gear.
That's, how's it fly, Mike?
Flies good. Flies real good.
Do you have any trouble building it?
It was a little daunting to build that wing, since it was the first geodetic wing I'd ever built, and it was the first plane I ever built that didn't come with assembly instructions. But I put in a phone call to Walter. I don't know if you remember this, Walt, but it was like 6 years ago when I bought the kit, and we had about an hour-long conversation on the phone, and he just talked me through the basic assembly. And I think somebody had building notes on it, maybe on Stunt Hangar, and I followed those a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I actually had building photos of the electric version, okay, and some guy bought the electric version before I finished it. So I built the prototype on the electric version, and some guy took it over. The guy's name is Bale, I think it was. He was a friend of Dennis Lipsitz or something like that. Anyway, he wanted one right away, and I was almost done with it. So he had just purchased the kit. So I swapped them back the kit with the prototype and blah, blah, blah. But, I could show you photos of it. And the building photos, I thought were very helpful.
Showing the wing.
Is that the same airplane? Go ahead.
He said the boss was derived from this. This is
No,
the bigger.
this was derived from the boss.
This was yeah. I'm sorry, the other way around. This was derived from the boss. And Walter, the only thing I can tell you, if you kitted that boss, is that like a 25 to 35 sized airplane?
No, that's the problem that I made. Was all I did was I called up Johnny Duncan and said, "Here's the route. Here's the tip. I want to make it shorter." And I thought that by doing that, I could put a 25 on it. Then I was also looking for that indestructible fuselage. Okay, so this one is got foam wings, which is a bad idea in my opinion. Okay, because the plane became so heavy, all right, that we had to take the muffler back plate off, and we literally had to scream the engine to get it off. Now, granted, it was an extremely windy day, and by all rights, the plane shouldn't have flown. But like I said, Mommy and Grammy were there, so it had to go up. And I'm not exaggerating. It was so windy that everybody that was there said, "We're not going to fly."
Okay,
And
so what motor's on the airplane then?
an FP25.
It's a 25, and that you're saying that's not enough motor for the airplane?
Not this airplane. Not this one. Because
Built-up wing would have been lighter.
Because
Okay,
number
right.
one, built-up wing would have been lighter.
Yeah.
Okay, number two, it was over-constructed, with regular weight 1/8 balsa, with light ply fuselage skins. I still put doublers on it. I went all out. I was looking for something structural.
I think if you could build that, if you could make that kit with a built-up wing in a 25 size version, or 25 to box 35 or whatever, that would be a big seller. I think people would want to have that, or even scaled down version of the Sakatumi, but just not a geodetic wing. Making a simpler construction wing. But that sized airplane would fill a void, I think.
Well, unfortunately, I did reduce the Sakatumi for the designer for a 25, but it still has the geodetic wing. And I really don't think it's difficult to build. Like he said, it's a little daunting. I never built a geodetic wing before, and I was actually worried. So what I did was the leading edge is 3-piece. And what I did was the center piece, I notched it for the rib location. And then I notched the front of the rib a little bit so it would interlock. Okay. That's how I got away with my concerns or fears when I went to build it. Because the guy that designed it, Elliot, said, oh, yeah, just mold the leading edge and stick it on there. I said, what if the rib's in the wrong spot or if it moves or whatever? And he was like, it's going to be fine. I don't agree with that, So,
Are plans available to that thing, Walt? I don't need to build one, but I'd like to have plans to it just because I think it's an interesting looking airplane, and I would love to study that wing a little bit.
That wing rib and the ribs that on there, those were my design.
Yeah,
John. Well, I'd like to have a plan to the socket to me. Mike flew one at Huntersville 2 years ago, and it's an interesting airplane. First time I'd ever seen one.
See, too many people when I first tried to, and when I first announced the airplane that I was going to kit this plane that was designed by Elliot, right away they're like, "Oh, that's a Tiwasaki." I mean, they look at a tail section and say it's a Tiwasaki. Okay.
No, I didn't think it was a Tiwasaki.
I'm not saying you did, but
yeah, I know.
Okay. And from what I understand, John is the guy to talk to about it. But I was told by Elliot that he did the Pathfinder, the Tiwasaki, and the Ted Fancher. Oh crap! What is that?
Imitation?
No. It's the profile that I actually kit.
The Fancherized Twister.
No.
The Doctor?
The Medic. Thank you.
Medic.
Oh, the Medic. Okay.
He used those three airplanes to come up with numbers, not actually appearance, but, numbers, how he wanted it. John and him come up with a different airfoil. Okay. And when I did the laser cutting, Elliot sent me a picture of it. And at first I didn't think anything of it. It was just, in my opinion, a stick with a wing, and then when he sent me a photograph of it, I was like, oh, I got to kit that. And so he said I could, and we redrew the body on the plans, and John had made it an asymmetrical wing, but in my kit, I actually took that away and made it even span. And I gave it an actual leading edge where Elliot didn't want a leading edge, correct?
Right.
So
Elliot did it as me, wanted a very simple airplane.
Yeah.
So
John, do you have plans to it?
Not to the Sakatumi. I have plans for the original boss.
Right, but they belong to Elliot, so.
Right, they belong to Elliot, so.
This is Elliot Scott you guys talking about?
Huh?
This is Elliot Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let me interrupt for a second because the chat box has been a little bit busy. Gerald Wimmer says,
plans to it.
Gerald Wimmer says, I have Otto and Max with me now, but our internet is too poor when we tried joining, probably due to all the schools being on holiday and online. We all enjoy watching the show. Thanks. And then Brent Williams says, foam is great. Build simple. And this is a name I haven't seen before. This person is called Old Control Line Pilot. Well, we almost all could qualify for that. He says, wishing you an early happy birthday, Gerald, from Robert Whitney or Whiteley.
Whiteley, that's Bob Whiteley down in Florida.
Yeah, different Bob Whiteley than that passed away.
No.
Bob Whitney?
Bob Whitney is in Florida.
Bob Whitney is in Florida.
Robert Whiteley is our Canadian friend.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
Didn't we just lose a Robert Whiteley?
Yeah, Bob Whiteley passed
Yeah,
away.
Bob Whiteley. Yeah.
Yeah, or people called him
weeks ago.
RJ. His friends called him RJ.
Right.
Oh,
he
yeah.
passed
Actually,
away.
I think our Canadian friend is Rob Whitley, not Whiteley. He corrected me on that last.
Whitley. Okay, it's spelled
Spelled the same.
W-H-I-T-L-E-Y.
Spelled this. Yeah. That's Bob Whitley in Canada.
Okay, we spoke.
Not Robert Whiteley, the guy who just passed, and not Bob Whitney, the racing guy down in Florida.
Florida, correct. Okay.
Yeah. And, speaking of gaskets, Robert Whitney had made me some gaskets one time, and really nice head shims. I met him at Brodax in 2016. Gerald Wimmer, he says, thanks, Robert. And so happy birthday, Gerald, or happy early birthday, Gerald. That's fantastic. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. Yes. So I'm sorry, you guys. Continue on. I interrupted.
I do got something.
All right.
You guys have all seen this before. This is Sam's little backyard electric airplane that we put together.
That's cool.
Out of some half-A combat planes. It's been about 2 years, I think, since I built this and showed it. But I slammed this together in an afternoon just out here with the material I had in the shop and some of Phil Cartier's Super Hacker cores. It's got the Brodak
awesome.
The Brodak electric motor and ESC that come in the KR timer. They sell for their Brodak Gladiator electric combat plane. That's actually where the power plant came from. We had a few of those combat planes that John Brodak and Dennis Admission gave us to try out. So when we crashed the plane, I had the power system, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to build a little profile stunner for the backyard. And we fly this on 52s in the backyard with a 1,300 milliamp battery. Timer's only set for 3 minutes, so you can't get a full pattern on it. But if you only do one lap in between maneuvers, you can fly a full pattern. This is what Tryon and I flew yesterday. This is what I put Tryon on in my backyard. Yeah, I charged up 4 batteries. I let him fly it. Then I flew it. Then Sam flew it. And then Tryon flew it again. But one of the things, after I built it, I put too small a bell crank in it. I only had a 2-inch bell crank in it. And even with a narrow handle spacing, it was a little bit twitchy. And even Tryon said that yesterday when he was flying it. And I've been meaning to put a 3-inch bell crank in it for a while. But since Tryon was here yesterday and we flew it, we both said the same thing. It's just, you're bobbling out of the maneuvers because it was over controlling. So I just threw a 3-inch bell crank in.
Oh, very cool.
Very
nice.
But this was just these are some old RC carbon fiber gear that I had. I mean, and the cores were, well, I like to say practically free because I have 20 sets of these cores. And then all the other materials I just had in the shop and robbed the motor from the Brodak setup. But pretty stout.
That's awesome.
Good little flying elevator only, no flaps, but flies pretty good. Tryon actually burned in a pretty good pattern with it yesterday.
Michael, you'll draw that up, buddy. I'd like to build one of those for my backyard.
So how was he feeling after the long drive up and drive back? He must have been pretty tired, huh, yesterday when he was flying?
He was pretty tired, and it probably didn't help that I fed him a big old plate of spaghetti and meatballs and a salad and garlic bread. I'm sure he was ready for a nap after that, but he hung around for, I don't know, about 2.5 hours or whatever. He came, we flew a little bit, we had lunch, we hung out in the shop, chewed the fat, talked about stuff. And but I was hoping he was going to be on tonight because he was pretty impressed with the airplane. He said he really liked it, other than the fact that it was a little too twitchy. So that's why I went ahead and changed the bell crank on it. So, anywho.
Go ahead, John.
Where did you put the?
Hang on, Walter. Hang on. I'm sorry, Walter. Go ahead, John.
One thing about Brent Williams, you need to know, he's been playing around with foam wings and carbon fiber fuselages and things to try to develop something similar along similar lines of what Mike's got there. And he's doing a good job of it. One of these days, I hope he'll come in and show us what he's doing. He's got a friend there that has a CNC machine to cut the foam, so he gets very accurate cuts doing it that way.
Well,
so maybe he'll come in if he's listening. You know, you might want to come in and talk to us about it. Show us what he did. His are pretty darn near indestructible.
John, I don't. Do you ever remember? I don't know if you were coming on the show when we built Samuel's stunt bots, his planes that he flew at the Nats for a couple years.
No, I didn't.
So my friend Larry Davis basically made a version of a foam wing Kiyosaki. Okay, same number. I mean, if you look at this, the rudder isn't the same, but if you look at how long the fuselage is and how big the tail is, it's very Kiyosaki-esque, right? Because, you know, it doesn't matter what shape rudder's on a Kiyosaki, but it's very Kiyosaki-esque anyway. So Larry had built 2 foam wing kits that he called the Stunt Bot, which were based on Kiyosaki numbers, and he sent those to Sam back in 2018. And Sam built 2 of them with me, and those were his Nats BOM models for several years till he, you know, he's crashed them so many times and we repaired them. But that's kind of where I came up with this. I kind of used the same numbers and just downsized it to this electric package. But I have Larry has since kind of gotten out of control line a little bit. He's more into RC stuff now. But he sent me 5 sets of cores for the Stunt Bot. I have these Stunt Bot cores to make, and it was actually a pretty unique spar system he had in there. There was no spars like per se, like we're used to doing, putting a spar on the top and bottom. He used fiberglass kite rods, 1/8-inch fiberglass kite rods, and there's one on the top, one on the bottom, you know, about the 3/4 of the way up the cord, and then there's 2 more on the top and the bottom toward the trailing edge. And these fiberglass kites, Larry had a CNC foam cutter, and he cut his own cores, so he cut these little 1/8-inch holes in the cores to assemble it. I'm going to have to do a demonstration on it. I'll have to pull everything down and show you guys. But you just shoot them full of Gorilla Glue. You put the 4 kite rods into 1/2 of the core, 1 wing panel, let them dry. And then your fuselage, your profile fuselage has those 4 holes drilled through it. So you slide that up to the fuselage and glue it on with 30-minute epoxy. And then when that's dry, so you got your 4 kite rods sticking out, you take the other core, fill it full of Gorilla Glue, slide it down. When it gets close to the fuselage, you put a little epoxy in there and slam it together. It's like totally self-aligning. Everything aligns because you're building it on 4 pins that go into the foam cores, and you can't screw it up. I mean, it was so easy to do.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
I have pictures of Sam building the plane. I'll digress here for a minute, and I'll see if I can find a picture of him putting those panels together so you get a better idea of what it is. But I have more of those cores, and I thought when we put Tom Dixon LA-46s on them, that's what Sam flew on those airplanes. But I think I want to do a couple of electric ones. I think it would transition well to a really good electric plane. And again, it's not flapped, it's elevator only, but they still fly really well. They fly really well.
Very good. Let me, I interrupted Walter. Walter, please go ahead and say what she's going to say.
No. All right. I wanted to show all you guys the plans, with, as long as John don't have a problem with it.
Why are you looking? Why are you doing that, Gerald? Walter, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. He does got it.
Yeah, that's the boss as designed. Okay.
Nice.
That is the boss as designed. And the rudder was very slightly changed, the top of the fuselage over here where we had the turtle deck. Well, where he did. And then the shape of the nose changed. But if you look, you could see that it has an asymmetrical wing.
Yep.
Okay. This is 26 inches to the from the center to the last rib. This one's 27 and a half. So it's got 1.5 inches asymmetry, or asymmetry, however you pronounce it the correct way.
Asymmetry. That's right.
Right. And see, this is what we did. And I know this confused a couple of builders. We put these tabs on the bottom of it. Well, John did. Put these tabs on the bottom of the spar. So a guy building it, it's like, how am I supposed to build this the way it's shown? Because there's caps. See here, there's spar caps that go on it. And basically a couple, you're not the only guy, Mike, that questioned how to build it. And
it's really simple.
It is real simple. It's just, if you haven't seen it, look, John, I was intimidated when I first saw it. I told you that from the beginning.
Yeah.
How many people are going to want to actually build this plane?
But when you drop those ribs in those slots, and you got those tabs on the bottom, it just self jigs.
Right. Well, the tabs are in the spar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
that way you don't have that much distance from the spar to the front. So you put the tabs on the spar, you lock them together. Now everything's locked up, all lined up.
Right. Well, it's okay. I have a build thread on the forum. Both my son building the Boss 2, which even though it did turn out to be a flop, I probably should have put a 35 on it, a nice strong 35, and been happy with it, But we learn from our mistakes. And, if nothing else, the nice thing about it was it took 4 or 5 hits, nose first, and it was still flyable, so to speak.
Very good. And Mike wants to speak, but just hang on, Mike. I'll let you speak. Let me catch up on the chat box. Gerald Wimmer says, actually, my birthday today, as we are one day ahead, being Monday the 20th here, and 3:51 p.m. New Zealand time. Nice flying electric model, Mike. Saw the video you posted yesterday. And then Gerald goes on to say, the stunt bots were really neat. And I also want to say we're up to 22 likes. We've had as many as, looks like 21 viewers. Wait, maybe, 21 viewers at our height tonight and 22 likes. That's pretty good numbers. If anybody's watching this now, please, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share. And don't forget the YouTube memberships. And don't forget the super chat, which we've had great turnout tonight. Almost $100 in chat revenue. It's actually 97 for the channel, but still, I appreciate that. And so go ahead, Mike, take it away.
Yeah, I know it's getting time, witching hour. You want to cut the feed, but since we're on this stunt bot thing, I found the build thread on Stunt Hangar, so I'd like to share some pictures of it, if that's okay. Just real quick, if you give me like 5 minutes.
Alrighty.
Share my screen.
While you're doing that, can I ask Pete a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead. I'll wait till you're done before I pull this up.
Pete, what wing is that?
Yep. What's up?
What wing are you working on?
Oh, that's the spirit of the Saginaw wing. I'm getting ready to attach the leading edge over here.
So I put tape along the spar lines in the back. This way I can run the glue along the leading edge and all the wing tops. And then once the glue's applied, I can turn around. I can use the tape on the other side to hold everything into position and while it dries.
Are you doing top and bottom? Are you doing top and bottom at the same time, or just one side?
No, just one side. The other side's already done.
Oh, okay. I just wondered what it was.
Yep, the bottom's already done. This is putting on the top. And seeing there, trying to figure out what the best way of doing this was, when of course you try to, if you try to get that attached with CA, there's no way you can get in, once that's down and taped down in place, there's no way to get CA glue in here. So you have to obviously apply the glue to the surfaces before you wrap this around. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use regular.
I beg to differ, Pete.
I'm going to use and use that to attach the top sheeting. The
That's a good way. That's a good way to do it, Pete. If you're going to use
it's easy because you have all that space. You can get the glue down into the joints. Once you wrap this around the top of it, well, you don't have that. You don't have that luxury anymore.
Why can't you tape it in place and drizzle the CA in from between?
Yeah, but to get it all the way down to the leading edge, it's a hit and miss type thing. I'd rather know that I'm getting glue in the spots that I need it. And this is easy enough to do. Believe me, this is easy enough to do. I'll turn around. I have it taped down on the spar. I fold that. Oops.
Yeah, I see.
I fold that back. I put the glue on the edge, on the surfaces that I need. Then I turn around and I give this a little dampen the top here a little bit so it bends easy enough. And then I just, wrap the edge around, tape it down at the bottom, and it's good to go until it dries.
Okay.
All right. So
can I go ahead and share?
Yeah, go ahead. And then after you, Mike, Howard Rush wants to chime in.
Well, Howard, do you want to chime in on Peter's thing there before I go? Is that why you're coming in?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up Peter's discussion on the wing.
Let's see if here I am. This is a pipette tip. It's made out of nylon, I think. And if you put this down on some a drop of CA, it'll wick into this, and then you can use that to put a precise amount of CA.
The problem being is I've already got the sheeting installed on one side, so I have no access to the surfaces from this side.
Well,
and once this is folded over, I really can't. I mean, it's a good. Let's see. It's a good 4 inches deep from between where the spar is to where I need glue on the basically on the leading edge.
Yeah.
And I can try to do it from this side and just kind of like drizzle it from the outside and wick it inward. But then, of course, I need to deal with the tops of each individual rib, and without flowing a whole bunch of CA down at the root of the rib here, and hopefully it wicks all the way down to the front. And this is just as easy, and it takes care of a world of problems. So it's another way of skinning a cat, but it works, and I'm comfortable with doing it that way. The other way is like I know with the thin CA, it drives me absolutely nuts. Is you try to get it to where you want it, and then ends up going everywhere you don't want it, including gluing your fingers to the airframe. And then, okay, oh, geez, well, at least I got some of it where I wanted it to go. And I mean, everybody's familiar with using CA. And has that happen quite often. I can show you a bunch of spots on this wing where it's kind of like the CA where no CA should have been.
This is a Derek Moran trick. And here's a pencil.
Yeah, I see it.
How you can
cool.
Put it down in something. That's the way I build mine, and it's pretty deep down. You can't have the D tube closed. You got to have access to the rib, but that works.
That's cool, Howard. I like that pencil with the the pipette tip. That's cool.
Yeah, tight bond. The cool thing about tight bond is
My hands ain't so steady no more.
you can iron it after you get the stuff together.
What?
You can use a monocoat iron and iron the outside of the shell, and it will melt the tight bond that's between the rib and the shell. And
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
yeah.
Yeah, that way you don't have to be so quick. You just want to make sure you get it all where you want it, and then fold it over, tape it in place, get your.
Oh, that is an interesting technique. I'm gonna have to try.
I've never heard of that either. That's really interesting. Thank you, guys. That's awesome.
I never knew that.
You can set your wing so that it's supported by a level table, so you could try to try to keep from putting any warps or curves in that leading edge by supporting it on that table, and you just run the iron. The iron reheats, reemulsifies the tight bond, and boom, you're there.
Wow.
Hardly any extra weight.
Yeah, that's why I'm also to alleviate the potential of building a warp into the wing. That's why, as you can see, the jig rods is still in the wing. I haven't yet.
Way to go.
There you go.
They're going to stay in there until all the sheeting is on.
You guys, let me change the subject to what Mike wants to do, and then we're going to end the stream, okay?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. We're going to share. Let me see here. So we're talking about the Stunt Bot. And as you can see, you got the picture?
Yep.
Okay, so those are the wing panels that Larry cut, and we had the fuselage already made.
That's your son?
That's my son. Yeah, this was a while ago, though. This was him building his BOM legal models for the Nats several years ago that he flew for several years at the Nats until he crashed them all and busted them all up. But so those are 1/8-inch fiberglass kite rods, and he put the 4 kite rods into that wing with Gorilla Glue, and when that's set up, he slid the fuselage down over, and then we put some epoxy in there to epoxy the fuselage to that. And then after that was dry, here's the next photograph of him sliding the other wing panel onto the fuselage. Now that wing is filled with Gorilla Glue on the fiberglass rods. And after he slid that down within like an inch, we laid some epoxy in there between the foam and the fuselage, and everything lines up perfectly. Bob's your uncle. Easy peasy.
Cool.
And if we can go, let's see, we'll just get down to, well, there he is painting his wings. The nice thing about foam, we just use foam poster paint, just tempera poster board paint to paint the wings. Very easy finish there.
Hollywood special.
And then we did fast cal. We used fast cal on the wings, and then he ironed everything down to shrink it up tight.
Brilliant.
And let's see. There he is hinging an elevator, getting the elevator hinge together. Those are Tom Morris Dacron hinge material that Tom sells. I bought a whole bunch of that material. I really like that. There he is laying that on with nitrate dope. And that's just a slab, quarter-inch balsa elevator, just a slab, rounded off. We'll get up into here. There's him mounting the engines. We'll get putting the landing gear on. We'll get to the finished product here. But there's the finished product. Larry sent us 2 kits, and Sam built them both. We made 2 because we knew that he would probably crash one at some point. So we slammed out 2 at the same time. But if you can, it's very similar to the electric model that I showed you earlier. But basically Kiyosaki numbers, very easy build. Sam was, I think, 9 years old when we built these, and we followed the letter of the law to the BOM. He did 90% of the work on these things, man. He glued them, he hinged them, he painted them. I helped him with the covering, obviously, but he drilled all the holes and he put the bell cranks in them, and exactly what you're supposed to do.
Neat looking airplane, Mike.
Yeah, and they flew really well. I think I flew one of them at Huntersville in intermediate maybe one time, if I'm not mistaken. But the dope finish on the fuselage and the elevator wasn't the greatest. It
but it wasn't meant to be, was it?
Well, no, it looks like a 12-year-old did, or a 9-year-old did it, because
that's what he did.
Yeah. I'm trying to stop sharing here. There we go. Okay.
Very good.
That's
Well,
awesome.
thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. Hey, Jim Smith, if you're listening, Jim Smith, I did receive the unidirectional carbon fiber. So thank you very much.
I'll have to get a check in the mail to you.
What was that again, Phil?
I said I got mine today too, so I got to get a check in the mail.
I got mine Saturday. And anyways, we've had a really good show. I'm still blown away by the chat revenue. I think that's the best that I've ever hosted. I'm sure Sparky has eclipsed that before, but this is a personal best. So thank you very much for you guys contributing to the show. I'm sure Sparky's going to take note of that and give me a pat on the back. So anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. We do this every Monday and Friday. If you're watching this as a replay and you'd like to donate and contribute, also, you need to do this during a live broadcast, which happens on Monday and Friday nights at 6:45 to start. And then we end, and then we go into the after party. And then, of course, to get into the after party, you have to be a member of Stunt Hangar Forum. And you can register at stunthangar.com/SMF. And then you'll find the link. And when you register, you need to register with your real first and last name with a space and a valid email address. So anyway, so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We'll be back Friday. So I'm going to go flying tomorrow with Joe Mata. And so hopefully you guys can chance to fly and then come back Friday and tell us all about it. Oh, I see you got your Combat Kid personalized AMA number, Mike. That's cool for your son.
Anyways, they're going on Sam's new speed limit planes.
Awesome.
On the elevators.
Anyways, thank you for tuning in. And come on back. Until then, as Sparky would say, fair winds and tight lines. We will see you later. So long. I'll see you guys later.